Hello and hi. This is like Christmas. This is like kid in a candy store kind of thing. So what I have here is the development version of Inkstitch. The one they're working on to release whenever they release it. You know, they released the last one a little over a year ago, so we'd like to see what's in the next one, and then so would I. I have also for about 10 years, I did Kubuntu development testing. I managed to help squash a few bugs in there. So I do know a little bit about testing and reporting. The easiest reports to make are the ones that are reduplicatable. Big word. Um, I've the first 5 minutes or so I was testing this out. I did run into a couple of bugs. Tried to reproduce those bugs and didn't have much luck. So it's a little hit and miss right now. But after I get through with this video and I start to use it more, I will see about reproducible bugs. Those are the easiest ones to squash. Um, oh boy, is there a lot of things in this. The development version that I downloaded, it really, I think it only has one new font in it. Not a big deal. But when you see the host of all of the other workings, you'll like it. I'm showing this first because this is what's on my current hat. This hat right here. And on this hat, on the fill params, I did a contour fill. And that is actually one of my favorite things about version 2.2.0, the current stable. That is one of my favorite features in that. You can really take a more or less boring fill and hype it up. It makes it really nice. Just like this image on my current hat that you saw. It really makes it look nice. One of the things that they did do is they reworked the contour fill. And it's supposed to be more consistent now, and there's a lot more options. There's a lot more options than all of the params now. So in the one I did for my hat, I actually deleted the eyeball. So it's just this. So we're going to go ahead and do extensions Inkstitch params. Go ahead and throw that on a contour fill. We're going to get our preview. Nice. And actually, what I did was I turned off the underlay for my hat. So this is what my hat looks like. This is a little bit cleaner than what my hat is. This has definitely been reworked. This is really nice. And that's the default params for it. I didn't change anything. But if you look down through here, you can see there's a lot of options. Single spiral, double spiral. So that's what the double spiral looks like. That's pretty cool. Single spiral. Let's set it back to inner to outer, join style, round, mitered, beveled. I messed with that a little bit. It didn't seem to make a whole lot of change. And I'll set it back to round default. Avoid self-crossing. Now this is interesting. When you check that, it tries not to cross over anything it's already done. So in this initial start stitch, it's not going to cross over that. So it's cleaner for sure, especially in the tail. Uncheck that. You got clockwise or counterclockwise. Smoothness, maximum fill stitch. We're used to those. Spacing between rows. Running stitch tolerance. Allow lock stitches. Force lock stitches. Now from here out, this is on all of the fill params. Tack stitch. Can do a half stitch. Arrow. Back and forth. Bow tie. Cross. Star. Simple. Triangle. Zigzag. Custom. I have not looked at the custom. So you have all of those tack stitch options. Lock stitch, you have the same lock stitch option. You can do a stop after, which just means that it stops. You're telling the machine, it's like the params where it said stop after stitching this object. If you do stop after, it's going to, if your machine listens to Inkstitch, it's going to tell the machine to stop. So you don't have to go into commands and attach a command to tell your machine to stop. You have it right here. Same thing with trim after. You can set it to trim after completing this fill, and it will trim instead of going into commands and telling it trim. So those are awesome. Absolutely awesome. Underlay, all of this is the same. I don't think there's anything new here. So that is some of your fill options in params. Beautiful. Love it. Oh, but wait, there's more. In the words of George Takei, oh my. All right. Let's go into extensions, Inkstitch, and see. We'll just go in order. What's next? The command, add commands, all these are the same. Display or hide commands. Scale command objects, those are all the same. Cut work segmentation. This is definitely new. Really threw me for a loop at first. Now, one of the things you'll notice that a lot of the things that pop up now have a help. So this says extension separates a path, keyword a path, depending on the angle. So we're going to work on that. Right now, I'm going to make a path and I'm going to set a few different angles on that path. And there's my path. Go into extensions, Inkstitch, cut work segmentation. I'm going to go to cut work options. I'm just going to leave everything default just for this. And we're going to hit apply, hit close, and now you see it's different. And each one of these things has been cut away. So apparently this angle and this angle are the same. And that could be. Same in the opposite direction, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, this is what you get when you do that. I haven't figured out exactly what I would use that for yet. But nice. Love new things. All right, what's next? Inkstitch. Did cut work, edit, duplicate params. That's fairly self-explanatory, but I'll do it anyway. Restack objects, select embroidery elements, and so everything else is pretty default. Select specific embroidery elements by stitch type. Nice. All right. So if you want to select just running stitch in what you're working on, you want to select all of the running stitches. Then you can select it, hit apply, and then you can set params to all of those running stitches. That is nice. Alrighty, what's next? Inkstitch. That was edit, duplicate params. So duplicate params. Yeah, I know. I have to select one and select another. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of quick satin stitches. I'm going to turn both of those into satin stitches, extensions, Inkstitch, satin tools, convert line to satin. Boom, did them both at the same time. Now I'm going to select this one, go into extensions, Inkstitch params, and I'm going to change something off of default. Let's give it a contour underlay. Let's go into this and go, let's go with the E-stitch. I don't ever use an E-stitch. And a zigzag of 0.35. We'll leave it at that for now. You'll also notice embroidery in the satin stitch params. We have some new things here as well. All of this is the same, except now instead of only being able to set pole compensation to a certain millimeter, you can now set your compensation to a certain percentage. So I'm going to change that certain percentage. We'll say 10%, and it's 10% bigger than it was. 5% on each side. You can also, in the params, love this. Look at this. Reverse one rail. Boom. Now I get that Mac OS bug. Uncheck that. If you get the Mac OS bug I sometimes myself, I will accidentally draw one of them in the wrong direction. Now I can just go in there and reverse one rail right here in the params. Amazing. You can swap rails. I don't know if you can see this. I hope you can see this. But the cursor ends on the bottom of this one. And if I swap rails, now it's going to end on the top. I'm all constantly doing that in doing fonts constantly. So now it's in the params. That is amazing. Thank you very much. Allow lock stitches, force lock stitches, tack stitch. You still have the same options. Lock stitch, same options. Stop after will tell your machine to stop after it does this. Trim after will trim after it does this one, which will be great when you're doing fonts. You can just go through and create all of your parts of each letter, and on that last part, you can do trim after, and it's going to trim it. Awesome. Random percentage of satin width increase, and this is a percentage for each side. Random percent of satin width decrease. This is a certain width on each side. I'm not sure exactly how that differs from pole compensation because it kind of does the same thing. Random zigzag spacing percentage. You can actually change the look of it. Now you can see that the distance in between each satin stitch is random. And in this case by 100%. Random jitter for split stitches. I think that's when you're turning the corner and you have short stitches in there. That might be a split stitch. Yeah, I don't have any split stitches in this one because I'm not turning the corner. Random phase for split stitch. Not sure, but sounds awesome. Random seed. I've been clicking on this and I'm really not coming up exactly with what it does. But anyway, let's run with that. So that one's already selected. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to go to extensions, Inkstitch, edit, duplicate params. It's going to duplicate from the first one you click to the second one you click. Now when we go into this one, it should have the same things that we just set. E-stitch, 0.35, even the same random seed. Oh, awesome. Lettering along path. Oh my goodness, how long have we wanted this one? It's just like Inkscape's text to path. Same thing. Except that it works with Inkstitch lettering. So we're going to pick an Inkstitch lettering. Let's go with that one. Of course, low-tech Linux. Hit apply and quit. There's my low-tech Linux. So it does specify your line needs to be at least as long as your text. It will only work with a single line of text. But I'm going to show you that it works like a charm. Hit enter. I'm going to do this and this, this. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Alrighty. So my path is already selected. I'm going to knock that thickness down a little bit. My path is already selected, so I need to shift click the text. Go into extensions, Inkstitch, lettering along path. You have the option to stretch, and I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. And apply. Close. And it jumbled it up down here on the end. I'm not sure why I did that. Okay, let me try it again. Extensions Inkstitch. It shouldn't have stretched it because I unselected stretch. Hit apply. Still did it. Okay. Then in that case, what we're going to do, I'm Control Z to jump out, by the way. Z. Let's do lettering along path and stretch. Now you'll notice that it fits. So sometimes stretch will actually work to your benefit in this case. I'm going to show you another. Let's go ahead and let's stretch this out because it might be seeing the line as not long enough. I don't know. All right, let's do it again. Extensions Inkstitch, not params. Extensions Inkstitch, lettering along path, uncheck the stretch, hit apply. Close. There. For some reason, it's thinking it's making them. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like I said. And the I and the N are too close together. Okay, Control Z. Now I do want to show you this also. I'm going to shorten this down by quite a bit. It's now shorter than my line of text. And then stretch also goes in the other direction. Lettering along path, stretch, apply. Now it's stretched together a little bit too much, but that's fine. And it doesn't update like Inkscape's lettering along path. You, at least as far as I can tell, you have to undo and then try again. And then that looks good. Except for the I and the N. Okay. And again, I'm not running this on my production machine. I am running an OpenSUSE virtual machine hosting an OpenSUSE virtual machine client so I can run Inkscape, so I can test, because this is definitely not release ready yet. It's getting close. Absolutely love what I'm seeing. What's next? Did lettering along path, and you saw the params. You saw some of the params. One of the params I really want you to see is, check this out. I have a line. Is it going to be a fill stitch line? Is it going to be a running stitch line? Am I going to turn into a satin stitch? Oh, look at this. Params for my simple line method running stitch. Oh, you don't have to dotted line it anymore. How sweet. And you also have the option of ripple stitch. Cool. You also have a zigzag stitch, which is quite similar to a satin stitch, but I'm sure it's not the same. And manual stitch, which is it will put a stitch in where your nodes are. So I put a stitch in to start it, or a node to start it, a node to turn, a node to end. I have 4 stitches, and half of those twice is for the tack lock stitch. Alrighty. We have those. We have number of repeats, bean stitch number of repeats. We've seen that one before. Running stitch length, tolerance, allow lock, force lock, tack stitch, same options. You have all these options for the tack stitch, same for lock stitch. Stop after, trim after is telling your machine to stop or trim, random seed. Still haven't figured that one out yet, but I'm going to. Outstanding. Okay. What can we do next? Inkstitch. We'll look at, actually, we'll go ahead and look at lettering. I don't think there's anything new, except for maybe Where'd it go? This Glacial Tiny 60, is that in the 2.2.0? I can't remember. But everything else looks like it's same thing we already have. We do have a cherry for Colleen. I can't remember if that was in the other one or not. But no big deal because we have so much other things. Is amazing. Oh, and even in the lettering. Let's see. Let's go with Emilio 20. Add trims after each line, after each word. I only have one word. Or after each letter. Ta-da! Absolutely amazing. All right, that's cool. Preferences. I actually forgot about this one. Preferences. You can set preferences. I have a strong feeling that this is going to be expanded on. Right now, your Inkstitch default settings for this project or globally, you can set minimum jump stitch length, minimum stitch length, stitch plan gash. That's all you can do for now. But I have a feeling this is a work in progress, and we're going to get a lot more things like you can like, and I'm guessing, I haven't talked to anybody in the development, but I'm guessing that we're going to be able to set defaults for satin stitches, like peak to peak, which I usually set to 0.35, and 0.4 is default. So I have a feeling this is going to be very much expanded on, and that's why it brings up a big old window with a couple of options. That's what I think. Okay, moving on. Thread color management. I don't think anything here has changed as far as I can tell. Install thread color palette. Let's see if there's anything different here. Install, and now it's done. Nope, nothing new there. You have to restart for it to work. So I don't think there's anything new in thread color management. Tools fill. Convert to gradient blocks. This is new. Under fill tools, you got break apart. We always had that. Now you have convert to gradient blocks. I'll show you what that is. If I can remember how to make a gradient block. So I need no stroke, and I need to go into fill colors. Object, fill and stroke. Fill, there's your gradient button. We're going to set the first one to have a color. There's the first color. We're going to set the second side to have a different color. Let's go with green. There we go. So this is a gradient color, and we can select to, what did it say? Fill, convert to gradient blocks. So what that does is it converts to the two main colors. 2 blocks of 2 main colors. Now I have a green block and a, what is that, pink, purple, whatever block. I took that one single gradient and converted it into 2 of the main colors. And I think this might be a prelude to an automatic gradient fill stitch. I did a video a long time ago about gradient fill, that you could set one side to start out thick and then thin out to nothing, and set the other side a different color to start thick on the other side and thin out to nothing, creating a gradient stitch. And since I mentioned it and it's been a long time, I will link that somewhere up above my head to the left, I think. I'll link that video. But yeah, so let's get rid of those. Extensions, Inkstitch. What do we got next? Come on, give me more. Give me more. Tools, satin, auto route, satin, columns. I think most of this I've already showed you. Oh, you know what? Stroke to live path effects. This one's interesting. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a line. I'm going to go into stroke style. I'm going to set that to 4 mil. Now we have our simple line, no fill, stroke. Okay. Go into, make sure it's selected. It is. Extensions, Inkstitch. Tools, satin. Stroke to live. We're going to pattern wave. Apply. Now, we have a satin stitch created from that stroke that's in the design of a wave. Sweet. How cool is that? Okay. Control Z to unselect. Select the object. Extension Inkstitch. We're going to do one more. I'm not going to do them all. Stroke to live path effect. That was a wave. Arch. Let's do the arch. So now we have arch going on. I'm going to look at that real quick. And there's our arched satin stitch. So that is awesome. All right, next. Oh, okay. Zigzag line to satin. This one's going to take a few minutes to explain. So our options are square, sawtooth, zigzag. When I first saw this, I thought you could take a fill stitch, which Inkstitch kind of calls a zigzag, and turn it into a satin stitch, but that is not the case. What that is a sawtooth, being this. So there's my sawtooth. Extensions, Inkstitch, satin, zigzag line to satin, sawtooth, apply. Now I turn that sawtooth line into a satin stitch. Close. Let's delete that. Let's do another one. A zigzag. So there's my zigzag. Go back to satin, zigzag line. This time I'm going to pick zigzag and hit apply. So there's my satin stitch created from the zigzag. And you know what? If I remember right, it wants you to start with a column or start with a rung and then do your design. So be like that and then that. So we'll take that as a zigzag and it should come out a whole lot better. Zigzag, apply. Absolutely. Much better. Outstanding. Outstanding. All right, so that's what that does. Satin. I think I showed all of those. Tool stroke, converts. Fill to stroke. But wait, there's more. Okay. Fill to stroke. I'm gonna make a circle. We're not gonna have a stroke. We're gonna have a pretty fill. And then we're gonna go extensions, Inkstitch, stroke, fill to stroke. Dashed line, keep original, cut lines, close gaps, whatever you want to do. If we look at the help, fill to stroke, fill outlines never look nice when embroidered, but it is a lot of work to convert a fill outline to a satin column or a running stitch. This tool will help you with that operation. It's comparable to Inkstitch trace bitmap centerline tracing and has similar issues. Doesn't work great, but sometimes it does work pretty good. So instead of converting to raster graphics, it will find centerline of vector-based objects within a fill. Okay, so let's try this out. I'm going to go dashed line, You can go a solid line if you're looking for that satin stitch design. Let's go with the dashed line right now. And it gives us this. Oh, how cool is that? How cool. Okay. So let's go with Inkstitch and troubleshoot. Let's see if it goes straight to being stitchable. Oh, I forgot to tell you, here's another thing that's new. In your troubleshoot, you can select pointer size and font size. Awesome. Okay, all shapes are valid. So we're going to go ahead and preview this. Inkstitch, visualize, preview. And speed it up. Zoom. Okay, a whole lot of jump stitches. However, Inkstitch has something for that too. Inkstitch, stroke tools, auto route running stitch, no trims, preserve order doesn't matter, add nodes at intersections if needed, hit apply. Hit close, extensions, Inkstitch preview. Now it's going to be clean. Beautiful. How cool, man. How cool is that? Alrighty. Let's delete that and see if there's anything left. I don't think there's anything left. Yep. That was remnants from long gone by. Yeah, I don't think there's anything left. So, I think I have done all of it justice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's about all I can think of to show you, but great things coming. Absolutely wonderful things coming. Gotta golf clap the devs for sure. Amazing work. I can't wait until it's stable enough to use. And as soon as it's stable enough to use, I probably will be. But I believe that's all for this one. Thanks for watching.